There's a right way and a wrong way to modify a car.
Today we have some real mechanics here to diagnose questionable car mods from TikTok, the home of good car advice.
All right, let's jump right into it. Here's our first clip.
I wanted to do this for a video. Oh, so that's what would happen.
We've all done this. We've all been in our buddy's garage and they're like, hey man, can you help me lower a car? Sure, you got zip ties?
Yeah.
I'm Soupy Wedge Panich and I build cars.
He's built a lot of cars that you've seen on the internet.
Yes. I think he's trying to get a spring out because it looks like he compressed it, put a bunch of zip ties, and then it looks like he's gonna try to take out that strut, take the spring out, and then replace it with a lowering spring.
Dude,
hopefully.
There's like a few things that just terrify me. Scared to be electrocuted and potential energy.
Well, I must say, this is the only right time to use white zip ties on a car.
The more you know.
If he's changing a spring, you could just go to an auto parts store and rent the correct tool if you don't have one.
For free.
And then buy a lowering spring. Use the rented tool, get the spring out, put the right spring in, and you have a proper lowered car. Can I have another clip, please?
Please, next clip.
All right, we got some,
Ooh. It's a quick change rear end.
Another fear I have, because it's happened to me.
This has happened to you.
Not this, but a wheel's fallen off while I was driving.
Oh, that's normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
That happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Is that the rusty? It's beat up or too much power. It could be all kinds of things. A lot of traction. My name is Sandro. I've been working on cars for like ever.
Somebody forgot to tighten the four-link.
Somebody definitely forgot to tighten something.
Usually it's at the drag strip though when there's a lot of grip loading up that rear end.
It's gripping pretty good. You see the size of those tires?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a drag race guy? Definitely didn't check anything. They wing everything. I know him.
Soupy's opinions on drag racers and the drag racing community do not reflect the opinions or feelings of Donut. We love all kinds of racers, no matter what kind of line they drive on.
I think with classics, you know, it's important to have almost like a monthly or even bi-weekly sort of like pre-flight check.
Any race car, just before you take it out, it's always a good idea to nut and bolt check the car. Basically, you take the car, you put it up in the air, and you go over all the suspension bolts, the engine mounts, the transmission mounts, and all this other stuff. When you're doing this, take a paint marker and put it on the bolt head of every one you just did. Don't be a dummy, use different paint markers every time you do this.
Are there any parts that you should always reinforce when you're adding more power, especially in a drag racing?
Axles are the first thing you want to do. With more traction, there's going to be more stress on the axles.
Yeah, upgrade everything. If you're going more power, upgrade everything. Brakes, tires, diff, everything you can. Just don't go down the block like that.
Next clip.
I didn't know.
This is not funny.
I'm not laughing. I'm just.
This is ridiculous.
Did he just paint the lifters too?
This is bad, dude. Get it all cleaned up, all this.
Okay.
Get a razor blade, scrape this off, get it all off, get
The
old rags. Get it
You and
all
the timing
wiped out. I don't
chain.
want one bit of this on here.
Okay, I didn't know. You didn't tell me.
I
that.
told you, outside of the block. What's gonna happen when the oil eats the paint off? Where's it gonna end up, John?
Where's it gonna end up, John?
John, bro.
I think early on we've all felt like John.
No?
I've never painted the inside of an engine, but I've cut a hole in the floor of a car.
Okay, that I've done.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Yeah. The guy who's yelling at John assumed that John knows how an engine works because he knows how an engine works. But guess what? John doesn't know how an engine works, and it's your responsibility to tell him as much as he needs to know to do the job that you need him to do.
I have a feeling John is that guy's kid.
Working for your family, working for your dad, it's not easy. I've been there. You get chewed out like that, you don't make that mistake again.
That's what we're always waiting for you to up so we can talk shit. You know how it feels, John. My son works with me, so
Oh, I see, yeah.
he's gonna be like, you, Dad. That fool painted everything. Inside, outside. That fool should just paint the whole motor.
But as soon as the oil gets around everywhere, it's gonna start wearing out the paint. It's gonna get into the oil, and then those little flakes of paint is gonna go into the pickup for the oil pump, clog the oil pump. You have no oil pressure, no oil in engine. Boom.
Boom.
Engine go boom. It is fixable. He's gonna spend a lot of time fixing this. He's gotta pull the lifters out. He's gotta either soak them in paint thinner and then re-soak them in oil to get them lubricated again. Physically take it off with like a wire brush or a razor blade, but you'd have to cover all the ports, make sure none of those paint flakes get into the engine.
Now it's time for another pearl of wisdom from our pals over at 5 Minute Crafts. Oh yeah, drill into that tire, baby.
Nice.
What are we doing today? 5 Minute Crafts. We're filling it up. Filling it with foam.
Foam.
What is this guy? What? Oh yeah, dude.
A lot of foam.
Just
Paint it. Paint it up.
Nice. Oh.
Oh yeah,
love that.
ruin all the integrity and handling that an inflatable tire affords you, so you can run over it on TikTok.
It's not like tire companies are gonna like watch this video and be like, "What? We did it wrong all these years. Oh my god, we should have filled it with shitty foam."
He didn't show you is as soon as he goes over the boulders, he's gonna break up that foam inside that tire, and it's gonna be all crumbly, and so there's gonna be a void in that tire. So he's gonna go down the road, and he's gonna have the shakes.
Air is the best thing to fill a tire with. That's why we do it.
Nitrogen.
Why? Because nitrogen's lighter?
Nitrogen doesn't expand.
Oh, so it keeps your pressure.
Your air pressure same.
Oh, so I know some people out there might be saying, this makes me think, how do run flat tires work?
Well, run flat tires are a different thing altogether. They don't put foam in it.
Run flat tires, say off of BMW, normally they come with the sidewalk that's a lot thicker.
Okay.
So it lets you drive for a good amount of miles. But in reality, they break. So it's just to save you like the hassle of being on the freeway or whatever. You get to your local tire shop, and then you're gonna have to spend the money because you're gonna buy another run flat. Now there's some other ones that have like gunk inside of it. So when the nail goes in there, it clogs up immediately. But it's harder to balance, and it's also expensive.
Let's watch our next clip. All right, a little roll cage with a quick release door bar. That's good. Okay. Yeah, it's a door bar.
Okay.
The welds are
Gross,
that
but
doesn't
yeah.
look good.
That is legal. That is a kit that somebody will sell.
It adds a little bit of diagonal structure. It's not like for crash protection because it's a straight bar. This is pretty common in drag cars.
There's very little side impact.
Very little side impact.
Yeah. You can't do that in road racing or,
Right.
or like drifting. Even though that's probably a legal bar swing out, the tech should not pass that.
Oh man, look at that weld.
You see all those pinholes and inclusions in them. So there's definitely contamination in there. It's not a solid weld, so there's a bunch of stuff in there. You don't want that in your welds.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get in this car.
If that rolls over, that bend right there, right on your head. I mean, the whole car looks like it'll catch on fire. There's wiring in the bottom. Look at the switches hanging out. Like, it, nitrous, gas,
See the rest
everything.
of this. It looks like a freaking 9 Inch Nails video. In this next clip, an investigation in the UK led to the criminal conviction of someone who knowingly sold over 300 counterfeit racing harnesses. This is what happened when those harnesses were sent to the lab. Takata, of course. Ooh, oh, that broke.
What a dirty, dirty move to sell fake safety equipment.
Actually, I was in an accident once. I thought I bought like badass racing seat belts, and the brackets actually broke on the side. The went up like this. I just got to slam onto the steering wheel.
You know, we did a list video where we looked at counterfeit racing products, and we looked at some belts. It was a little hard to tell the difference between the counterfeit stuff and the real ones. Made in USA.
Is counterfeit.
Oh, very convincing.
And then once you get the product, all seatbelts have a lifespan to them. So there's going to be a date that's marked on a seatbelt on a little tag. So it's like an official SFI tag. FIA is like the governing body for racing, and they have these standards, kind of like how OSHA has safety standards. And that's how you tell when the seatbelt expires and if it's legitimate or not. You could also tell, like most of the times when you get these things, the packaging looks weird. If it comes in a plain white box, I've learned as a kid, never trust white boxes or white vans.
All of these companies have spent a bunch of money on marketing to figure out what their box looks like. They're not gonna just send you a plain white box.
There you go.
Legit racing stuff, it's expensive, but that's because it works and it does protect you in the case of a wreck.
And you know if that seat breaks or that belt breaks or anything that has to do with safety breaks, you can go back and tell them something. But if you went and bought it from some boo-boo stuff and you feel like it was brand new, who are you gonna go back to?
Yeah.
The one thing you don't want to try to look for deals on is safety equipment.
Next clip.
This is how I drive my lifted Jeep at 3.5 feet tall. To drive this Jeep, I use custom pedal extensions and a custom-built seat. So how these extensions work is the gas uses a rod with a quarter pin that goes into the gas pedal, and then the brake pedal is actually welded to the frame of the brake so that it never fails.
A lot of comments on this video suggested that the mods are unsafe. We got our rod for the brake pedal right there.
I would have used a solid piece. When you weld something, it won't break on the weld, it'll break under the weld or next to the weld. Never, because that's where it got heated. What it'll do, like over time, it'll start like bending to the side.
One thing I'm worried about is this gas pedal is like basically a fire poker pole.
Yeah, if that gas pedal fails, you see that little clip there? That fails and it just kind of pins it down or gets stuck.
Or it gets stuck under that floorboard.
Yeah, and he's just full on wide open throttle. I mean, there's people out there that specialize in retrofitting. You should probably take your vehicle to one of those people.
Overall, the idea is tight, fabrication-wise.
Next clip.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good.
Oh, it's an Audi.
Oh, it's an Audi.
Yeah.
the end of single turbo Nagi.
Oh, dude, you need a fire extinguisher. It would be out right now. Oh,
Dude. Oof.
that sucks, dude.
It didn't work at all.
Chinese parts.
Well, the bin didn't do.
God knows where his position and money is. That sucks. Maybe it was backfiring. It was running rich already. He didn't notice it. Wires touched.
It goes to show, yeah, don't cheap out on safety equipment. And the fire extinguisher is a part of that. They also expire, just like seat belts. They have a charge in them. So after a while, the charge dissipates, and that's what probably happens there. There's no more charge in it, so nothing came out. Class B fire extinguisher is the one you want because that is good for oils and some other flammable liquid. You could get them at your auto parts store. You could even get them at like your home improvement stores.
So I saw a TikTok of a dad, and he was like, here's some dad advice. Daylight savings, you just do all that stuff. You add this to your daylight savings
There you go.
checklist.
We got this here Turbo Civic towed into the shop. Tow hook mount is secure as can be.
Oh, yeah, not very
Right
secure
to
there.
your intercooler t-shirt, quick disconnect valve.
Oh, nice brackets.
The core support is non-existent, so I mean it's lightweight for racing.
Yeah, half radiator.
They brought it to fix it, right?
Whatever's here is gone. Cruise control,
Oh, you
that.
don't. You need cruise control of that? Come on now, my dude.
that's gone. No
You can
hood.
charge him if he wants
Open fuse box.
If someone comes to Miranda's shop
to. With that,
with that, what are you doing?
we're putting it back on the truck. Going back out.
Yeah, he definitely got in the garage and YouTubed how to turbo a Civic, and like his internet cut out.
My favorite is that those are t-shirt straps. Those are straps.
Oh,
for
is that a t-shirt?
Yeah.
I've never seen that. That's
See,
crazy.
that's what the boys do for you.
Yeah.
They take care of you. They see your fucking intercooler like dangling down. They're like,
Like,
hey, you
let me
know
give you
what?
my sleeves, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got you. Looking like Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt off. I bet you anything, but that is probably whooping ass in the street.
If it's dumb and it works, it ain't dumb.
Ah,
You know?
it's fire right there.
Well, it's a fire risk, yeah.
Yeah, it's virus.
Yeah.
Wait, did he just cut the core support?
Yes. The up tube didn't fit, so you cut the core support off.
Okay, time. Core and support are two words that I would be like, damn, we probably need those. Core, support.
It supports all the things in the front of the car.
Yeah.
Your headlights, your radiator, your AC condenser. It also has the hood latch in there. You're not gonna be able to close your hood because the latch will be all flappy.
Say I'm like taking something off my car, like cruise control. What is like the correct way to
Well-
delete that be?
Take the bolts off, disconnect the connector, put some tape over the connector so it doesn't get water in it, because then later on you're gonna have electrical problems. Try to take off the unit as one piece. Don't just hammer stuff and
Yeah.
just cut stuff.
It is the best time to modify cars in the history of the world. YouTube it.
Yeah.
There's a ton of videos with us in them telling you how to not do this. Next clip.
Oh,
Oh,
baby.
shit.
Some nuts on that. Oh, it's
Oh.
backwards.
That's what's beautiful about it. Like, seeing crazy shit like that on the road.
It's not that terrible because they just basically took the body off and just kind of flipped it around. I don't think they did anything else other than cut the bed out. I'm sure none of the lights or anything works, but
Really makes life worth living, you know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it
Seeing this
does.
kind of
You
stuff.
and the boys is right there. Look at that.
Yeah.
They're both smiling. The fabrication, the time, that's beautiful.
All right. Huh. Patent pending. That's pretty cool. Save gas, extra power, and safety.
I call bullshit.
Here's my dilemma with that, right? The coefficient of drag is greatly increased. So the energy that you produce from those two fan blades probably neglected whatever you were saving because you have so much drag on this car. So you did nothing.
If those fans popped up and were spinning while it was windy out while you weren't moving, that's the only way that could work and add power to your system, but then it'd have to retract when you start moving again.
There are so many cars named after wind, and this is not one of them. What is like the most snake oil, not real modification you've seen on cars?
I want to say those little fan things that you put in your intake.
The turbos?
They're tornadoes, they used to call them.
Tornadoes.
They made a cool little whistle, and that was about it. And I think it was the noise that gave people the impression like, man, I just spent like $50 on a whistle. That is definitely a failed mod right there.
Next clip! I like that car.
Yeah?
I like that car.
Whoa, what is that?
It's a fountain. I like this stuff. Koi pot!
Oh no!
Yes!
I'm waiting for exhibit to pop
10
up.
out of 10.
Imagine the fish what they're saying. The fish is like, what the is going
Yeah,
on?
for real.
Let's go back home.
Yeah.
And then you open your trunk and it's just
So I'm all about showmanship.
that is interesting.
If you want to see even more cars going haywire, we did another episode. You can find it right here. Sandro, thanks for coming on once again.
Spoopy, thank you so much for being here.
Subscribe.
Thank you, man.
RMS, guys.
Yeah.
Can I have one of these?
Yeah.
Thanks, bye.